Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you very much for joining me here today. We're taking a look at Solana. And just before we do, we look at Bitcoin, get a quick understand of the market, just so we know exactly what's going on. Because if you don't know what Bitcoin's doing, it's you're doing yourself a disservice. Now, if you're new to the channel, of course, not a financial advisor, educational purposes only here. But I do need you to know that I have over 15 years of trading experience. My goal is to help you become more of an effective trader. So be sure to check out my Patreon account as well, because I do have an awesome, larger trading community. It's getting bigger every month, and obviously it's a really cool experience for most people. I share all of my trades with my members too, so check that out in your own time. Now, moving forward here to Bitcoin, to kind of specify here, basically the price bounced off here right at the resistance of 60,000. So we have this support level. I meant to say support, sorry. Basically support level of 58,000 to 60,000. So 58 to 60 is the support channel here. The price bounced right off of 60, held as support. There's a good chance it might break and come down even further. Hard to say. We need a few more days of data, so to speak, to ensure that we understand that that is an established support and resistance level. But generally speaking, that is essentially where we're at. For the moment, moving averages are a ways away. Don't need to worry about that. But just note there is also a resistance level between 65,000 and 66,000. So 65 to 66, the price got rejected out through there. Didn't spend much time because it got overextended. It moved up too quick. The main reason why is because we haven't had any corrections since, back here in September on the 29th, basically. So for lack of better terms, the price is, needing to kind of correct itself. So it'll come down to the next major support and resistance levels, which in this case here is, again, right in between 58,000 and 60. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at Solana here. Now, Solana has been testing its all-time high. Doesn't look like it broke it at all. Obviously, we got that kind of as a resistance level. So 216 is basically the high, and that is the major resistance. We've also got this situation right now. Of course, the one-day candlestick hasn't closed. We've got about an hour left in this trading cycle, but we can kind of see here there is a resistance level potentially forming right here, right at about, what is that, 197. Yeah, so you can see there basically 3 or 4 days in a row we got that level that was tested and kind of rejected essentially. The one-day candlestick never officially closed above that. Now, actually, what I should do is move that down a little bit further, because obviously that's where the most, the one-day candlestick actually closed. And that would actually cause that to be a nice support level here, right at about 191. So 191 to right about 216 is the channel it's in right now, essentially. So if it can kind of stay and hold there for a little while, then we will definitely see a leg up, right? If the price does retrace and go below that support level, then there's a great chance that'll work as a resistance level. We might see it continue on to do something similar here with a state of consolidation sideways. I do feel like Solana is due for another breakout soon. The fact that it's tried essentially 2 days in a row here almost, or it's only 1 day, of course, to break its all-time high, but it did definitely get tested and rejected here yesterday. So therefore, you can tell it's trying. And the more often you try to break a resistance level, the more likely it is to essentially break, right? Now, at this point, it's hard to specify exactly, but the great news here, take a look at this, the 50-day simple moving average is working as a support level. I love to see that. That's pretty continuous on these nice little runs here. The RSI is up over 50, just under 70. That's perfect. I love to see that as well. So hopefully we can get, 1 or 2 more days of just say, consolidation above support, and then we'll see a leg up to break the resistance level of 216. So that being said, we got a MACD convergence as well on the 19th. That was 3 days ago. I think we can all see that pretty obvious right here. Just before the price broke up, we can see that kind of heading through. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart and kind of see what's going on. So obviously, that's where the price kind of bounced off that support level there, and it rejected a few times as well. So that just kind of reaffirms the fact that 190, or round number 191, if you round up a little bit, is essentially the nice major support level right now. Furthermore, we had a MACD convergence, what is that, on the 20th at 1 a.m. So let's go ahead and check that as well. And what I do is I always like to just mark this and kind of see if there's a correlation between the Ishimoku cloud and the 4-hour chart MACD. So if we take a look here at the 1-hour chart, for example, and we go ahead and see where the MACD lined up. In other words, I marked on the 1-day candlestick and the 4-hour chart, essentially, where the MACD converged. So it converged here on the 1-day chart. That's a squiggly line. It's not as accurate, but this one's a little more specific here. So my guess is that the Ishimoku cloud will line up with one of these two. And look, there it is right there. And the reason why I like to point this out too is because I'm teaching a lot of my patrons to kind of find their own buy signals, right? So to find a buy signal, the MACD convergence is awesome, specifically on the 4-hour chart. And then when you transition over to the 1-hour chart and you confirm that the Ichimoku cloud, the price is breaking above the cloud as well, that's like a double rainbow. That's you'll hear me say that in multiple videos, just based on the fact that I refer to that as two really good things all in a row. Okay, so if you look at those two things right in that 2-hour time frame, we had a MACD convergence and a break above the cloud. And the great thing about the Ichimoku cloud is it works as a support level 2 here. So there's a great chance this will continue to drive the price back up and continue to break to the upside. I think that's a very strong likelihood. But just note, if you're new to the cloud, first things first, you just search for Ichimoku cloud. And what you do is you disable these first 5 indicators based on the fact that it gives you a lot of noise. Don't get me wrong, those things are very helpful, but a little more advanced. You probably don't even need to worry about that, right? What you want to do is just go ahead and have the plots background enabled, and that's all you need. And the common rule of thumb here is that when the price breaks above the cloud, it's considered a buy signal. When it's below, it's considered a sell signal, right? So it's not always foolproof, right? If you got a state of consolidation, the price is going sideways, there's no like established bull run momentum, so to speak, then you're going to see states like this where, it breaks below and doesn't really go anywhere, just goes sideways. That's all well and good, but once you have a breakout and you have that confirmation on the 4-hour chart with the MACD convergence, what that's doing is that's telling you when the volume is shifting from bearish to bullish. And it basically it's taking the 12-day exponential moving average, intersecting with the 26 in an upward fashion, and kind of giving us that buy signal. So those are the two things I look for initially before I take entry on anything. Minus Bitcoin. Bitcoin's its own entity. You don't necessarily have to have that to take entries on Bitcoin. It's more so developed support and resistance levels. But if you have support and resistance channels, and you're above support, and you just broke through the cloud, and you got a MACD convergence, you got all sorts of buy signals. You go long, set a limit, get out when you've taken your 10, 20, 30%. It happens more often than not in a lot of these coins. Like right there, for example, Solana, an average of about 30% up from the cloud, maybe 25 right now above support. Okay. So just some things to consider, like to kind of bring that to your attention, because I use this in every single trade that I take. I trade about an average about 80, 85%, and it's because of things like this. I have a specific system. Every time I take entry, I don't take entry arbitrarily based on feelings. It's strictly the data. Granted, there's a small amount of fundamentals that I always like to understand as well, and you need to do your research there for Solana because it definitely has the fundamentals. But generally speaking, those are the things I look for. So back to the prediction here. Let's just go ahead and kind of throw this out there. I feel like Solana is going to break its all-time high very, very soon. Keep in mind, when all-time highs are broken, crazy things can happen. Because we look back here, for example, this was an all-time high for Solana for a few days, right? So 81 was like a big deal. So I remember back when Solana was, nice, 30 or 40, it was averaging somewhere in that price range. And now it's upwards of 200. Like that's 5x from where we were at not so long ago. Just keep this in mind as well, though. Solana 5xing from where it's at right now is extremely unlikely, okay? Just keep that in mind. You're going to have some gains, don't get wrong, but it's not going to be a 2, 3, 4x per se, right? Because 200 is already pretty high in my opinion. I think there's a great chance we could see 400, but I think that's a bit of a stretch, right? So if you just say, for example, you take the take the Fibonacci retracement, and you kind of go from here. I would say we're looking at probably a better case of 300 by year end. That's just my speculation. But again, this is a good coin. It has a lot of good fundamentals. There's a good chance it could also go higher than that. But short term, keep this in mind. Short term, we're going to see this broken within the next week or two tops. Again, pending the price staying above that support level. We lose that support and it breaks below, there's a good chance it'll continue to kind of, waffle around, so to speak, and then eventually break, right? But if it can close above here to say for a little while and then, kind of leg up with a cloud and kind of keep progressing upwards, which it should do, then we're going to see it break that resistance level of 220 very, very soon. I would say the next week or so is a pretty good safe estimate. Just be careful, again, have your stop losses set. And every time you take a trade, make sure you do 3 things. Set a stop loss, or preferably a trailing stop loss. That's why I prefer bots. I have that integrated within my channel to ensure that, we can take profits at a trailing stop loss as soon as we hit a target, right? Furthermore, always ensure you have a target in place as well, because a target is extremely important to have at least 1, 2, or 3. Again, trading bots are very good for that. We use Cornix, but there's also 3 commas, which I believe is free, and it's a very good option there alternatively. But big picture here, again, just track all your trades, learn from your mistakes, and make sure when you get in, you know where you're going with it and where you're getting out with it. It's okay if you get stopped out. The important thing is to stick to a system and to hold true to that. Right? That's gotten me a lot of green days in the relative recent past just because of that alone. So just keep that alone. Keep that in mind. All right. So enough preaching. I hope you understand and find benefit here. If you do, please like and subscribe, comment below, or more importantly, check out my Patreon community and hopefully get to know you a bit better there. I have a great relationship with all of my patrons, and it's really awesome this experience to be able to kind of help you grow as a trader. Check that out. Thanks so much for your time, though. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.